What does it take to build a Black-owned fragrance brand and keep it alive for over a decade? In this episode of Wins and Lessons, we sit down with Shawn Crenshaw, the founder of Ovation For Men, an independent fragrance brand that broke barriers and created its own lane. We talk about how he filled a space where Black men weren't being seen.
Because there's a gap in the market. You know, I was a fragrance consumer. My dad introduced me to fragrances at a young age. So my uncles, all my cousins, all consumed fragrances. And not one brand had imagery that looked like me, walked like me, talked like me, or reminded me of me. And I knew then that there was an opportunity to create a brand that spoke to my dad and my uncle and my cousins and me and my brother. Because everybody that consumes fragrances doesn't have a six-pack on the nose of a yacht with European models.
And how he pushed through the setbacks of DEI rollbacks, and how he landed partnerships with collegiate athletes and pros like Richard Sherman. This isn't just about scent. It's about legacy, strategy, and staying power. This is Wins and Lessons, where we believe there are no losses in life, only lessons. So, on this episode of the Wins and Lessons podcast, we have the incredible Shawn Crenshaw, the CEO of Ovation. I got it right here, Ovation For Men. This is the sports edition. So, this is the one that I'm rocking today. It feels good to wear a Black-owned fragrance and also have the owner right here.
Yes. Man, you got the sport, bro. The sport has been like on fire this spring, summer. The sports version has been on fire. So, and I hope you've been enjoying it.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I had to go into work, right? And I told my wife this before we got here. I had to go into work, and the security guard, she was like, ooh, like she was, I could tell the ovation was exuded into her. She was just feeling me. I was like,
right.
Chill, I got the ring on. She was like, I know your wife be getting jealous. I was like, it's that ovation. And you know what I mean? I told her to fall back, but it definitely was ovation.
That's right. Hey, I tell you, man, people have similar stories.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. So it's proud. I when I hear those stories, man, it really, as I reflect on my journey, man, it keeps me inspired. Keeps me encouraged that we're on the right track, man. Because the fragrance itself, that was the whole point of the fragrance. We wanted to create a fragrance that would uplift, celebrate, bring recognition and validity and just a feeling of worth, to African American men.
Yeah.
And as our tagline saying, every man deserves an ovation.
Yes.
So we wanted to create a fragrance that represented that. And man, that's been our brand mission.
Yeah.
To celebrate the style, creativity, showmanship, and excellence of African American men. And so for you to tell me that story, bruh, it tells me that one, you epitomize everything that the brand stands for, and we're heading in the right direction.
And I got another story. So I had the Ovation, the original scent. My son was smelling. He's like, oh no, I gotta take that. So that's why I only got the sport.
Oh wow.
So my son took the other one, and that's why I just left with this one.
And I'm sure you or mom told him, like, look, I know what that fragrance can do. Okay, use it judiciously.
Yes.
But yeah, man. I tell you, man, my fragrance journey has been a journey. Exactly that, a journey, man. As I mentioned, I started the fragrance really because there was a gap in the market. I was a fragrance consumer.
Yeah.
My dad introduced me to fragrances at a young age. So my uncles, all my cousins, all consumed fragrances.
Yeah.
And I was off purchasing fragrances for gifts one Christmas, man. I walk up to the counter and I asked the attendant to pull out the fragrances, pull out the marketing material, and not one brand had imagery that looked like me, walked like me, talked like me, or reminded me of me. And I knew then that there was an opportunity to create a brand that spoke to my dad and my uncle and my cousins and me and my brother. Because everybody that consumes fragrances doesn't have a six-pack on the nose of a yacht with European models.
Yeah.
That's not the profile of everybody that really is passionate about fragrance.
Yeah.
And so that is what prompted me to really start the journey, man. And it was I knew nothing about fragrance, man. I mean, I stayed up that night leaving the department store and was Googling Black-owned fragrances. And there was none. There were some that kind of popped up that, maybe you did something out of out of their basement,
Yeah.
but nothing that was mainstream that I could put my hands on.
Yeah.
And I knew right then that I was going to be the one to really make an impact, you know, and create a brand that was industry standard, that was undeniably, unapologetically focused and targeted and messaged to us.
Yeah.
And you know, and so yeah, and when I came up with the name, I mean, it was almost divine, because I was like, man, what name would really fit what I wanted to capture? And I just heard a voice in my head that said, "Every man deserves an ovation." And I said, "Ovation is it," and that's the tagline. Every man deserves an ovation. So yeah, man, it's been a journey, man. I mean, we started the brand grassroots, and we've grown it now, and so we we're in a season, and we'll get more, I'm sure, in the conversation. But we're in a season now where we're really beginning to hit our stride, and I think these next 2 years, next 12, 24, 36 months, man, we really gonna make a big impact with the brand.
Yeah, I love that, man. And so I guess we could get into, like, I guess the complications you had, or just like the hurdles you had to go over starting the brand, coming up with a fragrance. Like you said, you knew nothing about fragrances to even start a fragrance brand. So what are some of the hurdles you had to go through?
Yeah, you know, the first thing was educating myself. You know, because here's the deal, you know, when you're entering a market that you know nothing about, and you know you got to interact with veterans in the game,
Yeah.
you got to educate yourself. You know, you got to know what eau de parfum is versus eau de toilette.
Yeah.
You know, you got to know what sillage is. You know, you got to know what maceration is.
I had no idea what none. I mean, I know the eau de parfum toilet, but after that, I'm done.
See, you got to know. You know, I got to know what those things are, man. So it started off really as an education journey first, man. I went to multiple fragrance conferences. I went to Vegas. I went to Miami. I went to New York, just to rub shoulders and understand the names, the faces, the process, you know, what's what. Because again, you know, I didn't want to enter the market at a disadvantage, not being educated about what it takes. Yeah. And so that's the first thing, is to educate myself. So that took a while. But what was great about it was I was able to interact with people that were in the industry, and I gave my elevator pitch to a young man. Shout out to Bart Smith. Gave my elevator pitch, and Bart was a retiring executive at one of the top fragrance and flavors companies in the country. And he was like, you know what? You're onto something. You know what? Because people of color purchase personal care products 3-to-1, 4-to-1 than any other demographic group. If that's hair care, body products, cosmetics, across the board, skincare, the whole nine. He's like, you're onto something. Give me a call, and let's talk more about it. And so that really started my journey, man. He introduced me to a perfumer. You know, and again, there's different ways of going about it. You can kind of be an artisan and kind of buy your raw materials and blend yourself. For me, I'm just not that creative, to be honest. I mean, I'm creative, but the patience and the precision and the science of it is just not. It just wasn't my strong suit.
Yeah. So chemistry wasn't your class.
Yeah, chemistry wasn't my class. So I knew I did not want to have being an artisan of fragrance as the foundation of my brand. You know, I'm more of a brander, a marketer, promotions, you know. And so I wanted to create a brand that I felt like, hey, I could create the necessary brief and take it into the industry and bring in a perfumer to kind of to help me kind of formulate the recipe. And so that's what I did. And so I was able to get with a perfumer. We started working on some prototype recipes. It took months. This is months. We were sending samples back and forth, you know, phone calls, Zoom calls, to talk about the fragrance. And then we would finally have iteration after iteration after iteration, and we finally get to a recipe that I felt proud of. I felt like it represented that style, creativity, showmanship, and excellence of my audience. And so we launched, and it was out of the back of my trunk, man. I mean, you know, I was able to find a company to give me a minimum order of like it was like maybe about 100 bottles, and then it turned into a flip game for me. Take that 100, flip that 100, take it. Now we buying 200. Sell that 200, and I was selling out the back of my trunk. Sell that 200, flip it. Now we got 500. Sell that 500, flip it. Now we got 1,000. Oh man, now I can get that European manufacturer on board. I got enough money to do their minimum order, and so that's kind of how we built it. We built it, and you know, and so there were hurdles along the way.
Yeah.
But I think, to answer your original question, it was more so of education, and then after that, it was more so of finance.
Yeah.
Dreams have to be financed.
Exactly. Yes.
And it was I was working a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to time my bonus checks to when I was getting that bonus check so I could make an allocation over here to my dream.
Yeah.
And so that was we've been doing this. We started the brand, we're 10 years in. So we're 10 years in. And again, I've had seasons of no inventory and seasons where we kind of took it a little slower than other seasons. But the biggest hurdles, man, really were the education, finances, and the other thing was building a skin of confidence to know that once I put my product out there, not to take it personal if people don't like it or people discourage me, because that's a hurdle too. It's a mental hurdle.
Yeah.
When you put a product out there, people, there's critics. There's critics everywhere.
Yes.
And so depending on, entrepreneurism is not for everyone. So if you cannot withstand the criticism, then I would advise you to second guess entrepreneurism because there's critics everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, but so those were, if I had to really say what my issues were, as the brand progressed, you get the haters, oh, why is it black owned?
I used to get that a lot when I did the black owned reviews. Like, why you only reviewing black owned? Like, because I want to show black products. And I get that a lot. Like, I get it, but I don't know why people are like that. They get offended.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, we don't value ourselves. We've been taught to devalue ourselves. We've been taught to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
And when someone comes into the market to say you are great, you are important, you are of value, they then compare it to say, well, don't nobody else say that, so why is it so special for us?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Then you don't know the history. You're not embracing the history. You're not understanding the impact of the history. And it trickles over in everything we do. And so for me, the only way to kind of move the needle or at least make a splash to give inspiration and hope is you gotta be unapologetic about what your brand stands for. You gotta be unapologetic about wanting to inspire and uplift and be an example of what we can do when we really tap into our power, our gifts. And so, that's the reason why people are not comfortable themselves processing black only. They have a hard time processing that. They have a hard time processing celebrating blackness.
Yeah.
This is a really good pivot, right? Because right now we're talking about DEI and all the changes with the administration and everything that's come into play. I guess Laurent you guys both can talk through what that looks like for your brand.
Yeah. Some
of the challenges you're dealing with right now. I don't want to name any specific companies because, I want this video to be longevity. We don't want to put a timestamp on it, but let's talk through that.
Yeah, you're right. We're in a time now where DEI is under attack.
Yeah.
And, I would be naive to think that my place in the market, my ability to navigate is not impacted by people's attitudes around DEI.
Yeah. And it's crazy not to cut you off. I would never think entrepreneurship would be like the DEI proof about something. So like say, workforce, something maybe with schooling or something like that. Y'all think, all right, that could be impacted by DEI. But I would figure entrepreneurship would be like DEI proof. Like nobody's could attack you because it's yours.
Well, let me use this as an example. I'll use my personal example. One of the things that really set our trajectory on a positive direction is, a few years back, we were accepted into Amazon's Black Business Accelerator program. And Amazon had made a commitment to invest into platforms and infrastructure to help support and scale Black-owned businesses. Naturally, Amazon being the top marketplace, the universal leader in e-commerce marketplace and in distribution and fulfillment. It was an honor and it was a privilege for us to successfully navigate the process to be a part of the program, and then an honor to kind of be in the Amazon family, to be able to tap into to Amazon Prime members and tap into the massive resources that Amazon has to reach consumers.
Yeah.
And secondarily, also to kind of be a part of the Amazon family, to learn kind of some of the nuances of scaling.
Yeah.
And there's training and there's mentorship and development, leadership development, all those things that they made a commitment. And a lot of people, now that DEI is under pressure, Amazon too, they had to kind of change, they had to pivot and change the scope of their allocation and commitment. And as it was explained to me, the program has been sunset. They've sunset the program. And so it's disappointing.
Yeah.
It's disappointing because, a lot of the things that we're doing could easily be boosted with just a little support.
Yeah.
And I think what people mistaken, these DEI initiatives as though it's a handout. For me, I ain't had a handout. As a matter of fact, everything that I've done has been having to push Amazon and many others like, hey, let's push forward. Let's push forward. Here's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Here's how you could better support. And everyone wants to, these companies have these initiatives, but it's unfortunate that, people, these companies don't really value the opportunity, because I think what we're going to find is that we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way.
Yeah.
We always have. We always will. But what's going to happen though is when we spin the block, it ain't gonna be with y'all.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just an indication of how much I need to double down on the culture. Because the attitude I take is, for my brand, wherever the culture is being created, wherever the culture is being celebrated, and wherever the culture is being witnessed, that's where we want to be.
Before we get back to the episode, I've got something special for you. If you believe in turning every setback into a comeback, head over to brokentraditions.com and check out the official Wins and Lessons merch. Wear the message, there are no losses in life, only lesson. Use the exclusive code NO LOSSES at checkout for 20% off, one time only. Let the world know you don't take losses, you learn from them. Now back to the episode.
That's where we want to be. Because what I'm finding, because they've pivoted away from DEI, they ain't there. They not where we creating it. They not there where we celebrating it.
Yeah.
They're not there where we witnessing it. And that's the opportunity. And because we know that our audience, we have a message and a brand that resonates, you know what? Y'all lost my game.
Yeah.
But now it's going to definitely take a little more work, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, for us, we've been working anyway. And like I said, we're going to figure out a way. We're going to figure it out. So, it's unfortunate. I think, will it come back with the same vigor that it was prior? DEI, that is. Will it come back? I think it will. As everything. Because, I'm an old head, before it was DEI, it was called affirmative action. Before affirmative action, it was called integration. It was called this, it was called, so, so I mean, it's
always remix.
It has iterations, because here's what I know why it's going to come back. You know why it's going to come back?
Why's that?
Because we ain't going away. That's why it's going to come back.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think, just everybody, this is the moment where I think we need to just stand shoulder to shoulder, and united front.
Yeah.
And don't, the sky is falling, but but you know what? It ain't came all the way down.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah. And I don't know, when you told me that story about Amazon, it just felt like these companies are so fake. They just go wherever the wind is blowing. So when it's comfortable now, we could do it. When it's not comfortable, we don't do it. But it's like, you could still have done it, just remix it, name it something else. It's like, it was beneficial to the sellers and the vendors, and also beneficial to them. Everybody's growing, should have kept it, but they didn't keep it because of the wording.
Yeah. People back down real quick. You know? And again, it's one of those things with what you're passionate about. And but I think, but I'm encouraged. We recently, with Ovation For Men Sport, we recently pivoted into the name, image, and likeness space.
I was about to bring that up.
And so, name, image, and likeness, when I saw the opportunity, was really in its infancy. And this was 2.5 years ago. And NIL has progressed tremendously since then. But, NIL gives us an opportunity to have direct contact, direct interaction direct deal making, direct ambassadorship with athletes.
Yeah.
Where they can get paid to represent products, and it's just not, they can do autograph signings, they can do merchandise, they can do speaking engagements, they can represent products. It's a whole basket of things that NIL represents. And so for us, we saw it as a great opportunity. Why? Because like I said, when we talk about culture of men being celebrated, the one sector of our community that Black men are being celebrated the most is in athletics.
Yes.
And so, for us, we saw an opportunity, and and it's slowly, and again, there was opposition. There was opposition to have an independent small brand come in and support these athletes, and the universities themselves have kind of been slow to embrace the idea. But I tell you, and I'm gonna give a big shout out to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. Alabama has taken a whole different approach of how to embrace small business, particularly for me, Black-owned business.
Yeah.
And they recognize that it's a competitive recruiting landscape out there. You have to have something going on with your program.
You gotta have an edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That speaks to, not the player, speak to his mama. You got to have something going on that speaks to his brother, that speaks to his daddy, that speaks to his pastor, that speaks to his community.
Yep.
Okay? And so they recognize that it's best to have an inclusive attitude about brands that we want to affiliate with or invite to affiliate with for the benefit of our players. And I got to give University of Alabama, a lot of credit, because they have a vision led by their general manager, Courtney Morgan, led by their director of content and production, Walt Brock. They have a vision about how to embrace independent brands. And so, it's been an honor, as Amazon closes one door, there it is, another one opens up.
Yeah.
So I think, you'll see more content coming from us regarding our NIL affiliation with University of Alabama. Big shout out to Tim Keenan and Isaiah Horton, our first SEC NIL clients.
Oh, that's big right there.
Yeah, it's
I wish
big.
I had some air horns to go. Burr, burr, burr. That's hot.
Yeah. So it's big. It's big. So
Yeah,
so
really big.
so this is where and again, it's for us. We want to use the platform, use the fragrance to give them elevated content about who they are, not only as athletes, but who they are as men,
Yes.
who they are as scholars, who they are as community leaders, what they're doing with their nonprofits. What are they doing as young men on campus?
Yeah.
Giving them an outlet to express themselves with their style and their fashion and their swag. Because if you leave it up to the university, all they're going to show them is with their helmet on, a number on their back, and their name on the back.
Yeah.
And I think that, we have recognized that there's a greater opportunity for them to engage with those 100,000 fans every Saturday to tell them a little bit more about who they are and for them to gain the confidence of who they are. Because, what we say is, not only do we want your fans to see you, not only do we want them to hear you, not only do we want them to feel you, but we want them to smell you. We want to know what that represents.
Yeah.
And so for us, and we our motto for what we're doing in the name, image, and likeness space on these college campuses, internally we call it Operation Smelly Locker Room. So we trying to get the fragrance in as many locker rooms as we can.
Yeah.
So trust me, when those players are out there reaching for something that represents excellence and inspires them, because as Dion say, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. And I'm gonna add, when you smell good, they pay good. So for us, it's all about what we can do to get into that locker room, leverage those 100,000 fans, partner with university to show the power of bringing brands in that are supporting your athletic department as a recruiting tool, as a retention tool, because we know the transfer portal is right around the corner. They can step out, they can just go out in the hallway and enter the portal and disappear.
Yep.
So for us, we want to support those efforts to recruit players and retain players, and then use the brand and the platform to recognize and reward or at least make the players feel good. So we're real proud of what we're doing in the name, image, and likeness space. I think, you see a lot of headlines about name, image, and likeness, and we're doing some big stuff. So I'm just waiting on that invite to that next big NIL conference so I can sit on somebody's panel and tell them how a little brand like me, little guy from Inkster, Michigan, got in with the University of Alabama. If you need my phone number, I can get it to you, but I need y'all to call me.
Did we put it in the show notes?
Yeah, put it in the show notes. Call me, because what these other cats doing, they don't know what they're doing. They ain't doing it like Ovation, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So we talked about the college athletes. I seen a commercial with Richard Sherman, so that's now professional.
Yeah,
that was dope.
That was dope. You know what? I tell you, shout out to my Seattle Connect. So my business partner, Cecil Cross, is from Seattle.
Okay.
And, we went out and distributed the bottle out in Seattle, and Richard was gifted a bottle from a mutual friend, out in Seattle.
Yeah.
And Richard was planning his podcast, and his podcast is a part of the Volume Network. The Volume is kind of like a...
It's like an umbrella.
Yeah, umbrella. Yeah.
Or like sports.
Yeah,
sports athletes. Exactly. I think it's Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Richard Sherman, his podcast is part of the Volume, and so they were just trying to game plan and figure out sponsorship opportunities for companies. And Richard actually mentioned our brand to his production team. Said, "Hey, reach out to Ovation for Men. I use this fragrance. I really like it. I understand it's a small Black-owned company.
Yeah.
Let's see if maybe there's a sponsorship opportunity." They call. Man, we turned that conversation quickly, and hey, forget the regular old sponsorship where we can just get our logo on this broadcast. No, we want to do some content with it.
Yeah.
And man, blessing. Richard was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we shot 3 commercials with Richard Sherman, and that too really opened up a lot of doors.
Yeah.
Richard was a part of Amazon. Richard Sherman is a part of Amazon. He's for Amazon's Thursday night NFL broadcast. He's he's one of the announcers, and so that really gave us a lot of credibility. It built confidence for us.
Yeah.
And we were to execute on some content that I'm telling you, it to this day it ranks as our best viewed, best reviewed.
Yeah.
Most talked about pieces of content that we've had, and it's been with Richard Sherman. So I cannot stress how important it is that, you never know the opportunities that come when you put yourself out there.
Yep.
And that's what we try to do. And that's kind of where it's been for us, is we're going to do everything we can to put ourselves out there and just be in those rooms, because you never know how it may turn out.
Yeah, and that's just dope that somebody gifted him the cologne and it just snowballed into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so organic.
Yeah, it does. And that's why I don't have a problem. If I need to gift the bottle, and I will, because you never know what it turns into.
You never know what it turns into.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said that Richard Sherman thing. I was like, wow, that's big. That was big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was proud of you. I gotta give you flowers for that. I was like, yo, Shawn is doing it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, it was a lot of moving pieces. Shout out to the Volume. They believed in what we were doing. And so, we're just trying to keep those opportunities, keep those relationships going, because that's what it's going to take. It takes relationships. And speaking of relationships too, man, I think things that we're doing, that you're doing, we need to do more partnerships and collaborations. That's another opportunity that I think we're missing. I mean, my man Chris Classic is here in Atlanta. Hey, if you haven't checked out the Black Nose Lab, I need y'all to go check it out.
If you're in Atlanta,
if you're in Atlanta, I need you to go see it. I need you to check it out. Chris is the dopest. When I tell you the dopest, you got to check it out. Big shout out, Savoir Faire.
I'm rocking his bag right now.
Yeah,
so.
She got the bag. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I usually wear Chris, but I was like, nah, I'm with Shawn. I gotta wear Shawn. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely go back and forth with Black-owned brands.
Yeah.
Like
we got to do more collaborations, man.
Like, if I can buy Chanel, why can't I buy Chris? Why can't I buy Shawn? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many. And what I love about the Black fragrance space is the collaborative. Like, y'all really collaborate a lot. A lot. Like, for me, dealing with Black-owned brands, I think is no match on collaboration like it is with the fragrance world.
Oh, yeah.
The Black brands.
Oh, yeah.
There's no match.
Oh, yeah.
And just to pivot a little bit, like what made me stop doing the Black-owned reviews was how nasty it was behind the scenes. I wish it was like how it is with y'all. I wish it was like that's easy. Everybody's like, why are you doing that, but not me? It's like it was a lot of cutthroat, and it's like we all could eat. We all could eat, but you guys, I love what y'all doing. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I think too, what helps support that is just if you're into fragrance, we know that if you're a fragrance person, you got more than one fragrance on your dresser.
Yeah.
So it opens up, it makes it collaborative because Tom Ford is right next to Chris Classic, which is right next to Yves Saint Laurent, which is right next to Ovation For Men on your dresser. You got them lined up right there.
Yeah.
And so we know people have more than one fragrance. So I'm not competing with you. There's a summer fragrance, there's a winter fragrance, there's a nighttime fragrance, there's a daytime fragrance, there's a floral fragrance, there's a spicy fragrance, there's a woody fragrance. Like there's plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah.
And so we understand that. And because that's what it is, we have no problem with collaborating. We have no problem with supporting. Ain't nobody taking money out of my pocket. And if we do it correctly, we can help put money in each other's pocket.
Which y'all are doing it
Which
correctly.
we are doing.
Yeah.
We're doing it correctly. And so, and that's the other thing that drives my passion about, when we talk about, again, DEI and things like that. Like, I'm seeing the power of collaboration within in my community.
Yeah.
And so, naturally, I come from a lens of saying that same collaboration can happen on a broader scale. For those other communities, they have to they preface it or use a DEI lens, but they're doing collaborations and partnerships and all type of the same things that we're trying to do on that stage. They're doing it, but it's a problem with introducing us to that stage. It's a problem to putting us on stage. It's a problem thinking that there's going to be a loss of space on that stage if you invite us. That's not true. That's not true. If they really understood what we do, is we expand. We have the energy and the power and the gift of expansion. That's what we do. We expand, and they know it because they'll exploit us for that. That's what they'll exploit us for that. And so, that's one of my biggest things too, is like my brand, what we try to do is we're not here to exploit, because we're here to uplift, we're here to further enrich. And that's different. Enrichment is different than exploit.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of brands, they approach us via an exploitation lens, because here's the thing with exploitation: you can exploit and you can discard. When you enrich, you invest, you grow, you shepherd, you garden, and you prune, and you rinse and repeat. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. It's a threat. It's a threat. It's a threat. They think the vine will grow and overtake the yard.
Yeah.
That's not the case. That's really not the case, man. I think, we have the power of expansion. We take an attitude of growth versus an attitude of destruction and exploitation. And so and we're trying to infuse that attitude with our brand. And in my business dealings, all my business dealings, you can call me, you can text me, DM me. I may be a little tardy, but I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I wish more was like that. And then like even us sitting here is collaboration.
Yep.
And that's why I like working with different people and having different conversations and working with the studio. Shout out to West Park right there. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Shout out, just working with everybody that's to collab and everybody could eat.
Yeah.
It's not a pie. It's a garden.
It's a garden.
And as long as you keep feeding the garden, it's going to produce more fruit.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. See, that's the attitude. It's a garden.
Yeah.
It's not a finite pie.
No.
People like to use the analogy, you make the pie bigger, but I get it, but it's a garden.
Yes.
It's a garden. It's a cyclical enrichment. Yes. It's a garden. And so I think
I'm gonna cut you off, but you take one piece of the garden, take a fruit. Like say we had, a bell pepper. Somebody takes a seed drop. So this right here could be a bell pepper. We drop a seed, and that could grow into something else. And that could grow, just like the evolution of keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. I mean, and that's why I said it's gonna come back because we ain't going away.
Yep.
This conversation. Now, it might be slightly muted. The conversation might be slightly muted, but it ain't going away.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm most encouraged about is that, there's a level of accountability that we have to ourselves as a community. And there's a history of advocacy, a history of protest that I definitely embrace with my brand and just my business philosophy. So I think you know, it'll come back. We'll be back at the forefront because I think it's going to be out of necessity. Because again, the growth that is going to be needed to sustain America, to sustain corporations.
Yeah.
You gotta come. They're gonna spin the block.
Yeah, so it's like the seed is in the dirt right now, but it's still doing the work.
It's still doing the work.
Still doing the work, and once it sprout up,
still doing the work. Still doing the work.
Yeah,
you know. And so yeah, man. I mean, but overall, I think this is a big part of it too. What you're doing in creating content, because what I'm recognizing for us having a direct to consumer model, really, it's the content. I'm sure you've heard, content is king.
Yeah,
but it is the content. This is how I make a connection to my potential customers through the content. As you all, what people want to do is they want to see the content, feel the content, experience the content, and then what they see and hear in the content, they want to experience when they touch the product, when they see the product, when they experience the product. And most of the time now, if they haven't initially experienced the product via the content, the product could be right on the shelf in front of them.
There's no connection.
There's no connection. And so the content is the connection. And so I just appreciate you and understand the importance of this too as a part of the overall process is creating the content.
Yeah.
And, this microphone amplifies voices. And so, y'all got 15 microphones, 30 cameras in here. And it's a lot of stuff that y'all are amplifying. And so I sincerely appreciate that, man. And I don't want you to lose focus on the importance of what you're doing. Is amplifying voices.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And so that's what's critical in all of this. So just, definitely y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Keep doing what y'all doing. The bright lights got me. Can't see everybody. Keep doing what y'all doing.
So let me ask you a question, like a personal question. If you had to choose sport or OG Ovation?
Oh,
it's like choosing
you put me on the spot. You put me on the spot. Oh, man.
Don't give me no backstory. Just tell me.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to date here. I'm going to this event. Now I want to just.
I'm going to tell you. That sport.
Okay.
The sport is the sport is hidden. The sport, man, is versatile. The ladies really like a more subtle aura.
What are some of the notes?
So yes,
because she be all over my body. When
yeah. So the sports version. Let me the sports version. So we purposefully designed the sports version to be something a little lighter, a little cleaner, a little fresher, spring, summer, to be a part of your hot boy, hot girl summer. That's why we designed it. And I said, we got to make it a recipe that really, really, really sets it apart. So top notes, you're going to get some bergamot, which is a citrus. You're going to get some saffron, so that gives a little spice. And you're going to get some aquatic notes up top. So it gives it a bright, airy, spicy opening. Then in the middle, we made it a little softer, some soft florals. So you have some linden blossom, some cedar leaf. Those are the two. The linden blossom, again, a nice sweet floral, not rosy or garden-ish. It's more tropical, not even tropical. You know what? I'll say more villa, Italian villa, fresh, clean aromas, but sweet, kind of, aromatic, almost like you can taste something, and then the cedar leaf gives a little more forest, evergreen type of feel, with hints of a little amber, lighten it up, sweeten it a little bit. Then in the bottom, gets a little woody, gets a little outdoor, again, to kind of complement those aquatic notes and complement some of the floral. You can get some sandalwood, a little musk, a little tonka, and some cedar wood. So it's fresh, clean, outdoors, light, airy, beachy, sweet, spicy, but real fresh. And so it's something right out of the shower. It's something when you headed to the beach, you headed out. Actually, it's very versatile. If you headed to the store, you want to dress it down, man, and it's real cool. And the ladies like it. The ladies like it a lot, man. So for me, the sport definitely is a great compliment to the OG Ovation signature, which I love too. But the sport, man, is doing its thing. And it's funny too, as we get further engaged in our Operation Smelly Locker Room. It's a great compliment to those locker room aromas that we pushing, with our NIL deal. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Ovation Sport. That's my one. That's my one.
So now, what's the notes in the OG Ovation?
So the OG top notes similar to the sport. We got some bergamot, so you can get some citrus. On the spice, you're gonna get cardamom. So different than the sport. And then you get some aquatic notes. So you're gonna get again some citrus, spice, aquatic notes. The spice being cardamom. Sets it off, gives it some signature. The cardamom is one of those notes where either you love it or you hate it. And those that cook with cardamom, you know how that cardamom adds that extra flavor. And so on the top notes, you'll see that on Ovation. And then in the middle, and this is what makes Ovation signature special. In the middle, you get a little tobacco, some vanilla, and tobacco, vanilla. Oh goodness, doggone! Man, I didn't call the brain farm. I got to repeat this the first time. You're gonna get some tobacco, some vetiver. I'm sorry, tobacco, vanilla, and a little amber. Dog, I lost that, man. I tell you.
It's like naming your children. Like
I know.
You got 100 kids, you don't know all their names,
bruh. And then on the bottom, and so in the middle, that tobacco and that vanilla, it really sets it off.
Yeah,
tobacco and the vanilla sets it off. And then in the bottom, you're gonna get some sandalwood, some vetiver, little oak moss, again some woods, but really the signature is that the top and that middle, the vanilla and that tobacco. Man, it's just a great combination, man, and people love it. They love it. And so signature stands out in the crowd, so you can be in an environment that's a little dense in the air, but it still cuts through. Get intimate and up close. It's still there.
Yeah.
So that OG is a winner.
Now they both great products.
Thank you.
You got another one coming out? You like, is this a
you know what? You know what?
You gonna announce it right now?
We've been talking about it for a long time. So most of my fans, they're gonna be like, Shawn, you've been saying this forever. You've been saying this forever. But we are. We working on a women's brand. We're working on a women's line. It's gonna take. It takes. Women's
inclusivity.
Say that again.
Inclusivity.
Hey, that's right. That's right. We got it. We have to include the ladies. The ladies have been holding us down. But we're working on it. We're working on it. I say every man deserves an ovation, but every woman deserves an encore. Because they are already on stage. They are already getting an applause. They are already ones, that step off stage and be called, come back on stage. So we're working on another fragrance, man. It's gonna take some time. I mean, with the women's line, it's a little more detailed. The packaging's got to be just right. The recipe's got to be just right. Everything's got to be just right. And I think too, women, we got to have a full-fledged sampling program. Women like to smell what they're buying before they buy it. So it just takes a couple of extra steps. It's coming. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. So you just mentioned like smelling it before you buy it. Is that like a hurdle that you guys go through? Like, because
good point. Good
people
question.
see the content, people see the vision, people see all the stuff, but they can't smell it through the phone. They can't smell it on the reels. They can't smell it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Is that a challenge?
It is a challenge. That's a good question.
Yeah.
One of those hurdles too is our business model being direct to consumer. It forces us to think outside the box. Well, how do you get a fragrance where people have to smell? People have a strong affinity to sample before they make a purchase, as they should. Fragrance is very personal.
Yeah.
And so, it is a challenge. It's one that we have embraced as our business model. And we try to supplement not being in retail by doing, activations, brand activation events, doing, doubling down on the fragrance community, having fragrance reviewers, YouTube reviewers really talk about the fragrance and really get us more engagement with the content to build trust, because that's what really is for us. Is we're finding that yes, we're not in retail and people aren't smelling it, but if you flood the market with information, flood the market with people smiling about using the fragrance and saying positive things about the fragrance, you can move the needle a little bit in impacting someone's purchasing decision, despite not being in retail. you know, and so that's kind of our strategy. And we feel like, you know, we're trying to align the brand with trusted partners,
Yeah.
you know, people that have a high trust factor with their audience. And as you know, that definitely puts us in the realm of influencers and brand ambassadors. So, you know, we're still figuring it out, but we think we're heading in the right direction. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I've become a trusted brand ambassador for my own brand.
Yeah.
I'm probably the leading ambassador. And so, but we're getting other folks that are really proud to say, hey, I rock with Ovation.
Yeah.
And as we begin to expand in the name, image, and likeness space with our college athletes and professional athletes, I think you'll see us move the needle even further. Like I said, it was great for Richard Sherman to actually, we got imagery of him spraying it, talking about it, and it moved the needle. It moved the needle. So it's a hurdle, but we're gonna double down on brand activations. We're gonna double down on the content. We're gonna double down on our cultural collaborations to help build a trust, because that's what it really is. It's you know, it's about building trust, and you know, we can't lose focus of that.
Facts. Yeah. Got something, Lex, real quick? While thinking about something, my brain's just gearing.
Yeah, any recommendations for LaRon as he grows a gray beard?
Well, LaRon, just let it grow, brother.
I'm letting it grow. I'm waiting.
Just let it
waiting
grow.
for it. Yeah.
And let every gray hair represent wisdom. Let it represent a pivot in how you view the world. You know, because I'm gonna tell you, each gray hair, man, you know, you're gonna get to a point where the things that you used to want to do, you're not gonna want to do anymore, and blame it on the gray hair.
Okay, I got it. See,
blame
I don't
it
have
on the
enough
gray
grays
hair.
to blame it, but I'm already at that point.
Yeah, blame it on the gray hair. It'll keep you right where you need to be, bro. Just blame it on the gray hair. Oh man, bro, I can't do that, man. Why, bro? And you can just rub it till you rub it. Man, I can't, bro. I can't do it like that. You know these cats. And it's wisdom, brother. See, Embrace it.
I love that. I love that answer, because I'm so amped to get it. I'm so like dyeing my head, my beard.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, I got a few. I've got a few.
It's coming. It's coming.
I'll let it go naturally. I can't get a BBL gray beard. You know what I'm saying?
Not the BBL gray beard.
BBL gray beard.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. I think, for Black men to embrace getting older.
Yes.
Because for a lot of us, that's a challenge to live a long age, to live a long life. And so my grays, man, when they start coming in, I was gonna let them come in, and because they represent more than just.
You never dyed it?
Yeah. Oh man.
Never got just for men?
No,
Clyde
nothing. I let my beard grow, man. I mean, hey, listen. What's amazing is, people really compliment the beard, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even have a full beard like yours. Like you got. I mean, you have a full beard.
Yeah.
I got I got a baby beard, a half a beard, man. It's half chin strap and a little, extended goatee. What I got is just an extended goatee. See, these brothers back here, they got beards. I got a little extended goatee, man. So I don't even try to brag too heavy.
Yeah.
But to distinguish myself, I let the gray grow because, my extended goatee, that's the best I can do, man. Let the gray grow. And so when I stand next to y'all, man, y'all don't put me to shame. But yeah, just let it grow, man. Let it grow.
That's what I'm doing, man. That's what I'm doing. Like I want to grow longer, but it stops right here. Like that's it. It's the height. That's it. It don't go no further. I don't know.
How's your entrepreneurial journey been, man? Like,
you know what? I think my entrepreneurial journey has been. I'm not going as hard as I could because I have a 9-to-5.
Understood.
I have a 9-to-5, so I know I need to go harder, but I also know that check is coming. And I gotta get into the mode of. I know the check is coming, but I gotta block that. The check is coming. That little cushion. I gotta block it.
Yeah, for my entire time building Ovation, I've for the majority of the time I've had a job. And what I've learned about working a 9-to-5 and being an entrepreneur is making the mental pivot that your job has a different purpose for you versus the purpose your job had prior.
Yeah.
So for me, because sometimes it feels like the job is in conflict with your entrepreneurial dreams.
Yeah.
I made the pivot. my job is now in complement of my entrepreneurial dreams because as quiet as it's kept, my job is my number one investor in my business. My job is my number one investor. So I treat my number one investor very, very important.
Yeah.
And I don't let no one talk me out of the importance that my number one investor has.
I love that. Yeah.
And so
like when you said getting a bonus check, I thought about that. Like, dang, I got a bonus check real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you know, I get up every morning glad to go to work, glad to go to my 9 to 5. And no one's gonna talk me into, well, man, you know, you could be doing so much more with the brand if you let your 9 to 5 go. I did that once. I did that, and man, it was the most stressful season of my life. Now, eventually, yes, one day I'll be fortunate enough to have my brand be able to support me and itself, because that's what a business has to do. If you talking about quitting, your business has to support itself, all your dreams and aspirations, all the stuff you want to do. Plus, it's got to support you and any of your teammates.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't there yet. We're making some inroads on supporting. I mean, the business now is supporting itself, but you know, supporting all the things that I'm doing, we still got a way to go. Yeah. But that's why my job is that much more important. So I tell entrepreneurs, like, just if you can make that mental shift, that pivot, that your job is your number one investor. Yeah. And so when you get up in the morning, you're going to engage with your number one investor, and you're gonna give them the time, you're gonna give them the attention, you know, you're gonna give them the accountability, all those things you need, because if you are able to successfully do those things, then you know what, your entrepreneurial venture will continue to flourish, or at least have a fighting chance to flourish. Yeah. Because capital, the biggest complaint that I have too as an entrepreneur is I'm sick and tired of us having to toil. We're undercapitalized, and we shouldn't be. You know, we go back to your original question about the hurdles, and I talked about finance, but it is frustrating that we are undercapitalized, and this is just across the board. We don't see the amount of venture capital. We don't see the amount of support from the consumers to buy product, to pump money into our businesses. Yeah. We're undercapitalized, and I'm tired of the toiling and drudgery of trying to find capital, because it's a stressful proposition. Yeah. And so again, that's another reason why the job takes on that much more importance, because it helps me combat kind of this toiling in the, you know, of trying to find capital. Yeah. Because people really don't think that we have long-term scalability, you know, and it's one of those things we have to fight that. And so, you know, hey, I'm hoping that maybe, you know, some venture capital firm might be seeing this podcast, but you know what? We're part of Amazon's Black Business Accelerator, global distribution, leading the space in NIL, relationships with the University of Alabama. We've done NFL content with Richard Sherman. We're kind of one of the top Black-owned fragrance brands in the market, 10-year history. We haven't gone out of business. So if you're looking to invest, you're looking for something that's got some stability and got some legs and just need a little, you know, just a little support, call your boy. Holla at me.
The number gonna be in the show notes.
Yeah, holla. Okay, you know, and so that's where I'm at with, you know, and shout out to other Black entrepreneurs out there that are inspiring me. Lanny Smith, you know, Actively Black. What up to you, bro? Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're inspiring us.
No, real quick, I seen fake Actively Black. I was so mad.
Man, come on.
I was so mad, y'all. I was like, come on,
bro. Come on, bro.
We can have fake Louis. We can have fake Gucci.
Come on, bro.
Fake Actively Black. I was like, damn.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I was pissed.
And you know, and
I was so pissed,
man. And I respect what Lanny's doing at Actively Black, because there's a message that, you know, he's really been pushing, and again, it's something that we need to talk about, is that we are the culture, and we make the mistake of kind of licensing or farming out our culture, and then when we want to access our culture, we got to get permission to access our culture from folks that we farmed our culture out to. I saw a recent post of his where he did an NIL deal with the University of Colorado with Shador and Travis.
I remember that.
And Nike want to put some pressure on him about him doing content. Them boys, that's they're kings of our culture. Yep. They're the future of our culture. And we can't even tap into our resources, our culture, our influence, because we've allowed corporate America to now control.
Yeah, have so much leverage.
And they're exploiting, and that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big challenge, and and as we continue to build our brand, and again enter this name, image, and likeness space, that's always something that I'm on the lookout for, because again, every Saturday, 100,000 fans are cheering for brothers that look like you, look like me, look like my uncle, look like my cousin, look like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And in that alone is the power of culture, building the culture and having influence.
Yeah.
And for us to have to jump through hoops and kind of, gain permission to tap into our own culture. We have to gain permission to tap into our own culture. Unacceptable.
Yep.
Unacceptable.
It's crazy.
And
man.
We're gonna change that.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
Shawn, man, I'm so grateful that you came here, man. I appreciate you coming here, dropping all these gems and wisdom and everything that you're going through. Let people know where they can find Shawn Crenshaw.
You can find me on our website, ovationfragrance.com. Check us out. We have 2 fragrances, Ovation for Men Signature and Ovation for Men Sport. Our brand is all about celebrating the style, creativity, showmanship, and excellence of African-American men. We're doing some great things. Check us out. Google us. We got reviews. We got blog posts. We've been top rated in many things. And you can also find us on Amazon. This past year and a half or so, we were accepted in Amazon's Black Business Accelerator program. We're available on Amazon. We're part of the #1 global fulfillment company, universal fulfillment company and distribution company with Amazon. So, and you'll see more of us. We're going to be doing more brand activations. We're going to be getting the brand out there, getting it to the nose of the culture. And as I said before, where the culture is created, where the culture is witnessed, and where the culture is celebrated, guaranteed that Ovation for Men is going to be there. Every man deserves an ovation. Let's get it.
Let me give you an ovation. That was fire. Also, be sure to check out the Wins and Lessons EP by Jamari Cash Out, now streaming on all audio platforms. Songs inspired by the Wins and Lessons podcast.
It's all about wins and lessons, oh. All I do is win or it's a lesson. I can take a loss if I learn from it. And I feel like a boss, only right I go in. I'm just thanking God for all his blessings. Cause all I do is win or it's a lesson. I can take a loss if I learn from it. And I feel like a boss.